Greetings, Demolition Derby fans. Today we've got some Demo Derby Smashdown from Play Games on the table, ready to go. Okay, so we have 12 cars in today's Demolition Derby event, and similar to the recent NASCAR race that I did with Red, White, and Blue Racing, the drivers are comprised of other members of the sports gaming community who have YouTube channels. And so what I did was I just took some of the fictional drivers that come with the game, and I just taped the name of our participants right onto the card. So we've got, of course, Keith Avalone, the CEO of Play Games, and his son Sam, who does all the great graphic arts work for all the different games in Play Games. And we've got one half of the Digital to Dice crew, Dave Gardner. And we've got the other half, the better half, I would say, Uncle Ron Juckett. And we've got veteran hockey gamer Peter Miller. And the host of the After Further Review channel, Steve Tower. Maybe he'll play his ukulele during a break in the action. And we've got Marco Scola. And a Magisport, he does a lot of wrestling videos. And there's myself, PJ. And Rob Kinsler, another veteran of many different types of games, including the Red, White, and Blue Racing and baseball and hockey. And we've got Tiger Bob of Tiger Bob Sports. He does a weekly APA hockey game. And Gitch, Rob Gallimore of Gitch Gaming, another veteran hockey gamer. And that rounds out the field for today's event. So the cars are on the track. And how it works is we do one row at a time, one row of 4 cars. And the cars will be targeting each other, doing either external or internal damage to their opponents. And when one car gets 7 units of external damage or 6 units of internal damage, they are eliminated from the event. Or there's a couple other ways they can get eliminated too. Their engine could fail, or they could get some reading off the unusual results chart. So we'll get right into it, and we'll start off with, well, let's take a look at the cars in the first row. We've got Tiger Bob in the 71 National Station Wagon, Gitch in the 70 Pioneer Custom Sedan, Dave Gardner in the 73 Chieftain Station Wagon, and Steve Tower in the 73 Colossus Coupe. And the cars are revving their engines, and let's get ready to rumble. We start off with Tiger Bob in the first row, and we rolls a 4-2. That's a skid, so we got to check the skid chart. Now, for purposes of this event, if you were doing a campaign, the cars would have grades, like similar to the wrestling game, which would go up and down as the season progresses. But since it's a one-off, we'll just say that every car is rated a B grade. So checking the skid chart, and a 3 is, I guess that's no result. I'm really not sure what that is. So we're just going to call that no result. He wasn't able to target anyone. And we move on to Gitch. And we roll a 6-4. Oh, and also there's 6 different moves for each driver, and they all have a funny name, which I sometimes forget to mention. So this is the easy target move, and a 6-4, he's doing 1 unit of external damage, but it's to his own car. So I don't know why it has the open star next to it, because that's usually indicating an opponent with the least amount of damage, but this damage is to his own car, so I don't know why it has the star there. But either way, he does 1 unit of external damage to himself there. He hit somebody and didn't do much damage to the opponent. And we move on to Dave Gardner, and a 6-5. That's the skid chart. I should know by now that a 5 is always skid and a 6 is always the car chart. The pretzel twist move. So Dave, we're going to check the skid chart again, and we roll a 3 again. That is no result. So finally we move on to Steve Tower, And we roll a 4-5. That's a gear grinder move. And that's, of course, that's the skid chart again. Oh boy, I'm already tired of the skid chart. And we roll a 6. That's the unusual results table. Maybe we'll have something interesting going here. And a 46 is a rollover. The car ends upright, and it's a question mark, is it still running? So he did 1 unit of external damage to himself and 1 unit of internal damage. So every time you do internal damage, you lose one of your 6 possible moves on your driver card. But since he's upside down, let's just do this. I don't know what to make of it here. Car ends. Oh, it says rollover. Car ends upright, still running. All right, so he's not upside down. He rolled over and now he's upright, and the car is still running. Okay, so we got to see which maneuver Steve Tower loses use of, and it's number 4, the gear grinder. So what we do in this case is we put his card up here, and we put a red chip. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. We put a red chip over the 4 column, and Steve can no longer use the number 4 gear grinder maneuver. Okay, so that's it for row 1. We move on to row 2 now with Keith Avalone. And a 2-1. That is a quick clip maneuver, and ND means no damage, and it also means that he is using evasive action, and we flip his card over, which means he's playing chicken essentially, and he can't be hit for the remainder of this turn. And on to myself, PJ, and a 3-5. Well, we know that's the skid chart. That's the break time maneuver. Okay, back to that skid chart. And we rolled a 3 again, no result. Okay, on to Uncle Ron. He gets the honor of being the only van in this event. And we roll a 5-1, that's a piston whip. So he does 1 unit of external damage to an opponent. Now the burst symbol means the opponent with the most damage. So there's nobody with the most damage yet. So it's either going to be myself or Rob Kinsler. And a 4, so it's on Rob Kinsler. So he gets 1 unit of external. And let's see, what did we say, 5-1? So he does 1 unit of external to his own vehicle and 1 unit of internal to his own vehicle, so he's going to lose a maneuver. And we roll a 1, so he no longer has use of the wheelhouse move. We'll put his card up here, and we'll put a red chip over the wheelhouse maneuver. And finally on to Rob Kinsler from Hurt, Virginia. He's looking to put the hurt on somebody right here. And he rolls a 5-3. That's the whoopee cushion maneuver. 1 unit of external. He's doing more damage to his own car here. So we got to see which car. It doesn't specify, so we'll roll again. And a 1 is on myself, so he's targeting my car. But he did more damage to his own car there. 1 unit of external to himself and 2 units of internal. So we got to roll for 2 moves for him to lose on his card. And we roll a 4 and a 5. So he no longer has use of the duck and dodge or the whoopee cushion maneuver. That's got to hurt. And finally on to row 3 with Sam Avalone starting off the festivities. And a 3-3. The shotgun blast maneuver, no damage, and that means he is playing chicken as well. So the father and son team here, they seem to have worked out a strategy together before this event where they're just going to duck out and not aim for anyone and also avoid being hit. On to Peter Miller. And a 6-2, a sudden fender. 1 unit of external to an opponent and 1 unit of external to his own car. So we'll mark him, and it's either going to be a Magisport or Marco Scola because Sam Avalone is hiding out. And a 1 is to a Magisport. So that's his first unit of damage, and it's now his turn. And a 3-4, that's a U-turn maneuver, and that's the skid chart. And a 1 is 1 unit of external and 1 unit of internal to an opponent. And we'll roll to see who. And a 1, that's on Peter Miller. So Peter Miller with that 1 unit of internal is going to lose a maneuver. We're going to roll to see which one. And it's a 1. He no longer can use the quick clip maneuver. We'll put a red chip on his card. And finally, we move on to Marco Scola to conclude round 1 of this event. 3-1, the lug nutter maneuver. He's targeting the car with the most external damage. That's going to be Peter Miller. And he does 1 unit of external and 1 unit of internal. So Peter Miller is going to lose another maneuver here. He's taking a beating. Number 5, the bully pulpit maneuver. And we put a red chip on his car. And that concludes round 1. We will continue with round 2 shortly. And the cars have been shuffled and rearranged onto the track in a different alignment than they were the previous round, which is how the game works. And we're ready to go here with a Magisport. And we've got 2 cars, the father and son team of Keith and Sam, playing chicken. And we roll a 3-2. That's a U-turn maneuver, and he does 1 unit of external damage. It doesn't specify who, so we have to see which of these 2 drivers. Now remember, Keith can't be hit because he is using evasive action. And a 5, so it's going to be Steve Tower. So that's his 2nd unit of external damage. Okay, so now we flip Keith's card over, and now he is no longer playing chicken, and he's back in action. So he rolls a 3-6. That's a swashbuckler, and that's the car chart. First time we're consulting the car chart. He has no damage so far. So his 6 is unusual results table. Second time we're going there. And we roll a 2-1. That is a showdown. Winner, this is something that, I haven't figured out how to do this maneuver because it has to do with like a campaign thing where you lose a grade or your driver grade increases. We're going to roll again on the unusual results. So we roll a 5-6, smoke pouring out from under the hood. The engine light goes on. So Keith paid the price for that evasive action, and now his smoke is coming out from under the hood. And what do we say? The engine light goes on. So we're going to put the engine marker over his card. So we remember for next turn, if we roll a 1 or a 6, his car is going to die and he will be out of the event. So we're going to put his card up here. And so we move on to Ron Juckett, whose card is up here. He's already lost one of his maneuvers. He rolls a 2-5. That's a surgical strike, and that's the skid chart. And a 2 is 1 unit of external damage, and we have to see who it's going to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's a 6, so it's on Steve Tower. He takes his 3rd hit. He's starting to look a little banged up here. And now it's his turn to try to do a little damage, and his card is up here. He's already lost a 4 maneuver. And he rolls a 2-6. That's the car chart for a double smash maneuver. And we're looking on the 3 units of external damage. And a 6 unusual results table. That's getting a workout today. And a 3-3. Steering failure. He loses moves 1, 3, and 5. Wow. So he's already lost 4. So we're going to put chips over 1, 3, and 5. Steve Tower only has 2 units left. Two maneuvers left that he can do. He's lost 4 maneuvers. So his car is taking a beating here. As we move on to row 2 with Marco Scola, and he rolls a 1-5. That's the skid chart. I should know it by now. Okay, skid chart. And he's a B and a 4. He does 1 unit of external damage to his own car. So that's the first dent on Marco Scola's chassis there. We move on to Sam Avalone, and he comes out of hiding. Let's see what he does. A 6-2, a hinge binge maneuver. 2 units of external to an opponent and 1 unit of external to his own car. So we'll mark that, and we've got to determine the opponent, and we roll a 5. That's going to be myself. So that is 2 units of external damage. That gives me 3. And it's my turn, so roll a 4-3. That is a rip and run maneuver. I'm targeting the car with the most external damage. Well, it's going to be a tie between these 2. And 1 unit of external damage to my own car, so that gives me 4 externals. And we'll roll to see who it is, and it's 4, so that's another hit on Sam Avalone. And finally Dave Gardner, and I swear I did not set it up this way that myself and Dave would be in the same row here. It's just the way the cards came out. But Dave is looking good with no damage to his car, so he might be after me here. And a 5-5, we should know that's the skid chart by now. And a 6 is the unusual results chart. So back we go to unusual results. A 3-1, and there's the showdown maneuver again. The winner kills the opponent. So again, we're going to skip the showdown because I don't remember how to do that. And a 6-1 is the showdown. Anything with a 1 on the white die is a showdown, apparently. So a 2-3. Brake failure. Lose moves 4, 5, and 6. So Dave is pumping those brakes. They're not responding. And we're going to put red markers on 4, 5, and 6. He loses half of his maneuvers. We're putting his card up top here out of view. And that concludes that row. We move on to row 3 with Peter Miller. And his card is up here. He's lost 2 maneuvers. And a 2-1. That's a zip strip maneuver. Targeting the car with the most external damage. That's Rob Kinsler. And he does 1 unit of external to his own car, 1 unit of external to Rob Kinsler, and 1 unit of internal. So Rob Kinsler is going to lose a maneuver. He's already lost 2, and that's a 5, which he's already lost. So that doesn't affect him there. But Peter Miller is up to 4 units of external damage, and we move on to Rob Kinsler. And he rolls a 1-4. That is a opportunity knock maneuver, targeting the car with the least damage. So that would be Tiger Bob. 2 units of external. So Rob Kinsler looking for the guy who's strutting around there with no damage, and he gives him a solid hit there. And on to Tiger Bob. And a 6-2, the big hello maneuver. Car with the least external damage. That would be Gitch. 1 unit of external. And what did we say? 2 units of internal. So Gitch is going to lose 2 maneuvers for the first time. And we'll roll 2 die. And he rolled double 3. So he's just going to lose the rope-a-dope maneuver. And we're running out of red chips here. We'll put one on his card. It's all the way up the top here out of view. And finally it's Gitch's turn. And a 4-1. That is a smash and dash maneuver. And ND is no damage. And he is using evasive action. That concludes round 2. We'll shuffle the cards around, and so far 2 rounds, no one is out of the event, and we will start round 3 shortly. And smoke is filling the arena, and dust and dirt in it, and lots of noise here at this event as we start round 3 with a 1-6 on Steve Towers' card, and that of course is the card chart. And let's see, Steve Towers 3 units of external damage, and he rolls a 2, but he still manages to lay a hit on somebody. And we have to see who. Now Gitch is using evasive action. We can't target him, so it's going to be Dave Gardner or Marco Scola, and a 6, it's Marco Scola. That's his 2nd unit of external damage. And now Gitch comes out of hiding here, and he's looking to target somebody. And he rolls a 3-2. Now can't see his card, it's out of camera view, but column 3 is the maneuver that he's lost, so he cannot do anything. He was not able to pull off his rope-a-dope maneuver. And on to Dave Gardner, and he's lost 3 maneuvers, and that's a 4-4, and 4 all the way up here out of camera view is one of the maneuvers he can no longer use because of damage. So nothing much is happening here in this first row. On to Marco Scola. 3-6 is the card chart, and he's got 2 units of external damage. So his car stalls. His car stalls, and he cannot get it going here. So we're going to pull out the stall card and put it on his driver card for the next round. Next round, any even die roll, he gets the car started again. But if it's an odd die roll, his car dies, he is out of the event. So we'll see what happens next round to Marco's car. And on to the second column with Peter Miller. He is all banged up here, and he rolls a 6-6. That's the car chart with a sudden fender maneuver. And he's 4 units of external damage, so he's not looking too good there. And he rolls a 3. He stalls, so now Peter Miller is in trouble. And we're going to put the stall on his card. So 2 cars have come to a halt here. And onto a Magisport. And we roll a 1-1. That is a 5 and diamond maneuver. Car with the most damage takes 1 hit of external. So it's going to be Peter Miller or myself. We'll roll a die to see who. And it's a 6, so that's my 5th unit of external damage. I am on the brink of being eliminated here. And we move on to myself. And a 4-5. That is a wingdinger maneuver, and that's the skid chart. And a 2. I do 1 unit of external damage, and we have to see who it's going to be. And a 5 is going to be on Uncle Ron Juggett. That's his second hit. And finally, it's Ron's turn, and he has lost one of his maneuvers. And he rolls a 2-3, a surgical strike. He does 1 hit of external damage, and we have to see who it's going to be on, and it's a 3. So that is on a Magisport. That's his second external damage. On to the third row with Rob Kinsler. And he rolls a 6-6 on the Stinger maneuver, and that's the car chart again. And let's see, so Rob has 3 units of external and a 6 unusual results table. Hopefully we won't row showdown again, because I don't remember how to do that. And there's a 1, so that's going to be a showdown, and we'll roll again. And a 1-6. Trapped. Sitting duck for opponent. Smash. 2 units of external damage, 2 units of internal damage on his own car. So he got trapped probably in the corner or between 2 other cars, and someone laid a wallop on him. 2 units of external, 2 units of internal. So that gives him 5 external, 1, 2, 5 internal. So he is on the brink of elimination here. So with the 2 internals, we've got to roll and see if he's going to lose 2 maneuvers. Now he's already lost 4 and 5. So he rolls a 3 and a 5. So we don't count the 5. But he loses use of his orangutan maneuver. Keith came up with some funny names for these maneuvers here. But either way, that was a costly round for Rob Kinsler there. And we move on to Tiger Bob. And a 6-5, that's going to be the skid chart. And as we remember, a B3 is nothing happens. I don't think that's no damage. I'm not really sure what that result is. And on to Sam Avalone. Father, son in the same row here. They have a chance to go after each other. Let's see if that happens. 3-1, shotgun blast, 2 units of external, one external and 2 internal, and we have to see which opponent, and that's a 2, so it's going to be on Rob Kinsler. 1 unit of external, but the 2 internal gives him 7. That you needed 6 to be eliminated, and Rob Kinsler's from Hurt, Virginia is our first casualty, as his car is wheeled off the track here in round 3. And finally, Keith Avalone. Now, if you remember, Keith's car is stalled. Right? His engine's stalled. So a 1 or a 6, his car dies. Any other roll, he gets his car running and he could take his turn. And there's a 5, so Keith is still in it. And he's going to take his turn now. He's got his car started. And a 1-1 is the double zinger. 2 units of external and 2 units of external to his own car. So that's his first damage. And let's see, is it going to be Tiger Bob or Sam? And it's on Tiger Bob. So he passed up his chance to hit his son there. A little nepotism going on there. And that concludes round 3. Stay tuned for round 4. And on to round 4 we go with Sam Avalone starting the festivities. A 3-1 is a shotgun blast move, 2 units of internal and 1 external, and we have to see which car If it's me, I'm going to be in big trouble, and it's a 5, so that's going to be a Magisport. 1 external and 2 internal, so a Magisport. He's had full use of his car, but he's going to lose two maneuvers right now, and he loses a 5 and dimer and a U-turn maneuver. So we will put his card over here and mark those with red chips, and move on to Marco Scola. And okay, Marco Scola is one of the cars that stalled. So on even roll, he gets his car started again. Otherwise, his car remains stalled and he can't do anything. So he roll a 1. That is an odd roll. His car still remains stalled, and he's a sitting duck here for any car that wants to target him since he can't move. And PJ, my turn. I'm one of the few cars left that hasn't lost a maneuver. Got my fingers crossed for a 5-2 wing dinger. Targeting the car with the most external damage. That's going to be a Magisport with 3. And I do 1 unit of external, so that gives him 4. And finally onto a Magisport. And that is a 3-1, and 3 is one of the maneuvers he no longer can use, so he cannot do anything that turn. And on to Keith Avalone in the row 2. In a 6-5, that's the skid chart to Keith. And a 5 is 1 unit of external damage to his own car. So Keith now has 3 external damages. On to Uncle Ron Juckett. And let's see where his card is up here. And we roll a 5-2, a piston whip maneuver, targeting the car with the most external damage. That's Keith. And let's see, 5-2. Oh no, but it's external damage to his own car. So again, I don't know why that has a the burst symbol, because that's indicating an opponent, and the damage to his own car. So a couple of these results on the driver cards don't seem to make sense. Anyway, on to Dave Gardner. We've got the Digital to Dice team here, possibly looking to eliminate each other, and Dave's car is spotless, no damage on it. And we roll a 3-6, but let's see, 3-6 is side swipe maneuver, and the 6, of course, is the car chart. So no damage, so we're looking in the 0 column, and he rolls a 4. He does 1 unit of external, and we got to see who it's going to be on. And it's a 3, so he's targeting Uncle Ron. Oh boy. Could this be the end of the Digital to Dice podcast here, if these two end up feuding? And finally, on to Gitch. Let's find his card all the way up here. And he rolls a 6-1. Easy target. Targeting the car with the most external damage, which is going to be Uncle Ron. So he does 1 hit of external damage, but he does 1 external to his own car and 1 internal, so Gitch is going to lose another maneuver, and he rolls a 5. So he is now down 2 maneuvers. He's lost maneuver 3 and number 5. So Uncle Ron is up to 5 external damages, and Dave Gardner still sitting pretty there with no damage to his car. And finally on to Peter Miller. He is one of our stalled cars, so he needs an even roll to get started up again, and he rolls a 3. That's an odd roll, so Peter Miller remains stalled. He is a sitting duck. So let's see if Tiger Bob's going to go after Peter Miller here. And a 5-6, we know what that is by now. That is the car chart. So we're looking at column 4, 4 units of external damage. And a 5 is an engine problem. The engine light goes on, signaling imminent engine failure. Place the engine light card over the driver card. So out comes the engine card. And on his next turn, we're going to see a 1 or a 6. His car will die and be out of the event. Okay, so we'll put that up here. And finally on to Steve Tower. And he rolls a 4-6. He's lost 4 maneuvers. 4 is one of the maneuvers he cannot do. So Steve Tower is helpless to do anything. That concludes round 5. Okay, on to round 5, 6. I've lost track of what round it is, but here we go with Keith Avalone in row 1, a 5-2. That's a pinch hitter maneuver. 1 external and 1 internal to an opponent. We have to determine which opponent. And a 2, that's going to be Tiger Bob. So that's Tiger Bob's first internal damage. And he is going to be up next. So we're going to see which maneuver he's going to lose. And he is stalled. Not stalled, he's close to having engine failure here. So he's going to lose maneuver 1, but it may be a moot point here if his car is out of the race. Now we're going to roll a 1 or a 6. His car dies and is out of the event. Otherwise, his car is still running. And a 5, so his car is still running. So he's going to take his turn now. So Tiger Bob, what did we say? He lost maneuver 2, I think. So a 6-5, that is the skid chart. And a 1, he does 1 unit of external and 1 unit of internal to an opponent. We got to see which one. And a 5 is going to be Imagisport. So he's up to 5 externals, and that's his 3rd unit of internal damage. So we got to see what maneuver he loses. And he rolled a 1. He's already lost a 1, so he didn't lose an additional maneuver there. And now on to Uncle Ron Juckett in that club van. And he rolls a 6-1 Dust Devil maneuver, targeting the car with the most external. So it's going to be a tie between Tiger Bob and Imagisport. What did we say? 1 unit of external and 1 unit of external to his own car. So wow, that gives him 6 external damage, and we'll see who is going to be the target. And we roll a 6, and that's 1, 2, 3. Imagisport's 6 unit of external damage. Both of these cars are on the verge of elimination. And we roll for Imagisport. He rolls a 5-2. That is the out of sight maneuver. No damage, which means he's using an evasive action. So he knows he's on the verge of elimination. So he is ducking in, playing duck and cover there. And we move on to row 2 with Gitch. 5-3. A 5 is one of the maneuvers he no longer has use of. And on to myself, PJ. Now I haven't lost any maneuvers yet, so a 5-6 is the wing dinger maneuver. And we check the car chart again. And a 3, that is that no result maneuver, which I'm not sure what it means. And again, I'm in the same row with Dave Gardner here. Gotta hope he ain't gunning for me. And a 4-5, a 4 is one of the 3 maneuvers that Dave can no longer use. So he does nothing this round. And finally, Steve Tower. And he rolls a 6-2. One of the 2 maneuvers left he can still use. A weak link maneuver, targeting the car with the least amount of damage, which is Dave Gardner. And he deals out 1 unit of external, but his car also takes external damage. But finally, somebody put a hit on Dave Gardner. It's about time. And 3rd row with Sam Avalone. And a 1-4 is a quick clip maneuver, targeting the car with the least external damage. That's Marco Scolo. And he lays 1 hit of external onto Marco. And Marco is stalled. That's right, Marco is stalled. So he needs to roll in a 2, 4, or 6 to get his car started. Otherwise, he's sitting pretty there. And he rolls a 5, so he cannot get his car started. He remains stalled, so he cannot do anything. And now Peter Miller goes. And he rolls a 6-5. That's going to be... oh, no, wait. Peter Miller is stalled, too. We got to roll to see if he gets going. So on an even roll, he gets his car started again. And he rolls a 6. So his car... We removed the stall marker. And I moved the red chips around here. Hopefully they're still on the maneuvers that they were intended to be. So Peter Miller's got his car going again. And he rolls a 6-4. A sudden fender maneuver on the car with the least... now, here's another one of those results where the damage to his own car, but it's got the open star, which refers to an opponent. So I don't understand that. But either way, 1 unit of external damage to his own car. That concludes round 5 or 6. We've still only lost 1 car in this event. As we're on to the next round, hopefully you're still hanging in here. This is going on longer than I anticipated. I did a few practice events before filming this one, and they all concluded a lot quicker than this one. We had a lot more cars being eliminated. But either way, I hope you're still sticking in for the sticking with this one. So here we go, Gitch in round one. That's a 1-4 maneuver, a wrecking ball maneuver on the car with the least damage, which is going to be Keith Avalone. So he does, what did we say, 1-4, 2 units of external to Keith and 1 unit of external to his own car. And we move on to myself, PJ. And I roll a 3-6. I haven't lost any maneuvers yet, but that's the car chart. So I have 5 units of external damage, so it's not going to be a good result here. And a 1 is a stall, so I join the list of cars that are now stalled, and I cannot do anything, and I'm a sitting duck for Keith Avalone here. A 2-1, a quick clip maneuver, and that's the second time this event that Keith Avalone goes into hiding here with some evasive action. And finally, Steve Tower. 4-2. Where is he? He's up here. 4 is one of the maneuvers he cannot do, so he is inactive again for the second straight turn as we move on to Tiger Bob. And he rolls a 6-5. That's the skid chart. And a 2, he does 1 unit external damage, and we'll see which opponent. And it's a 5, so it's on Marco Scola. On to Sam Avalone. And a 2-6 is the card chart. And he has 2 units of external, so he does 1 hit of external, and we got to see who it's on. And a 6, it's going to be on Marco Scola. So he's up to 5. And now Imagisport comes out of hiding. He was playing chicken there. And he rolls a 6-1, a cha-ching maneuver on the car with the most external damage. So we've got either Tiger Bob or Marco. So he's going to do 2 external and 1 internal. So we'll see who it's going to be. And we roll a 5. So 2 external. Bam! 7 units of external. Imagisport with a big hit on Marco Scola. He is our second casualty in this demo derby event. And let's see, we'll remove his driver card. Well, actually, he was stalled. So he was stalled on that turn. So he was a sitting duck either way. So on to Dave Gardner. And a 2-2. That is a passing glance maneuver, targeting the car with the most external. So that's going to be Uncle Ron with 6 externals. 1 unit of external, 2 units of internal. But the 1 unit of external gives him 7. Dave Gardner has just eliminated his tag team partner, his Digital to Dice podcast partner, Ron Juckett, from the event. Is this the end of a 7-year partnership? We will find out shortly enough. Okay, so we'll take Ron Juckett's card off. And we move on to Peter Miller to conclude this round. And he rolls a 6-4. That is a sudden fender maneuver. 1 unit of external damage to his own car, so that gives him 6. Peter Miller is in trouble. That concludes this round. So the initial field was 12 cars. We are now down to 9 cars after Ron Juckett, Rob Kinsler, and Marco Scola all made exits from this event. And we go on to Gitch in whatever round this is, possibly 8. I lost track. 6-1, easy target. He's going after the car with the most external damage, which is a Magisport. He's got 6, so 1 unit of external damage gives him 7. Gitch laying a big hit on a Magisport. He is done for the day. We remove his driver card, and we are now down to 8 cars as the field starts thinning out. And Sam Avalone, a 5-5. The father and son are the 2 cars that have not lost any maneuvers here. 5-5 is a skid maneuver. And we roll a 2, so he does 1 unit of external damage. So there's only 1 other car, so it's got to be Gitch. That gives him 5 externals. On to Dave Gardner. Only 1 unit of external damage, and he is, we'll move his card up. And a 6-5, he cannot do a 6 maneuver. So nothing for Dave there. On to Peter Miller, who's hanging on by a thread with 6 units of external damage. He rolls a 1-3, a quick clip maneuver, and no damage. So he is probably wisely using the evasive tactic here, since he's so close to elimination. He cannot be targeted now by P-Jet if he had a chance to target him. And since my car is stalled, I need to roll an even to get going again, and I roll a 4. So my car is started up, and I've got my sights set on Dave Gardner there after he knocked out Uncle Ron. Let's see what I can do. A 4-4, rip and run. The car with the least amount of damage, well, there's only one car available for me to hit right now. So I do 1 unit of external on Uncle Dave, and I do 1 unit of external on my own car. I'm up to 6. And we move on to Tiger Bob. And a 4-6 is going to be the card chart. And Tiger Bob has 5 units of external damage, so this is not going to be a good result, and it's a 3, so he stalls. He cannot get his car going, so we put the stall card on his card, driver card, and we move on to Steve Tower. The 1-5, that is going to be the skid chart. Well, actually, no, Steve, he's lost use of his number 1 maneuver, so he cannot do anything. Finally, on to Keith Avalone with 5 units of external damage, and he rolls a 5-6. That's the card chart. And Keith has 5. It's not going to be a good result, and it's a 1. So now Keith stalls. Cars are just stalling all over the track here. We've got 2 stalled cars, and that concludes this round. Stay tuned. And we resume action as the field is now down to 8 cars. I hope you're still hanging in there. 2 cars are stalled, Tiger Bob and Keith Avalone. And so, let's see. Peter Miller comes out of hiding there. He stops his evasive action. We understand why. He's got 6 units of external damage, so let's see what he can do. He rolls a 5-5, a bully pulpit maneuver. That's the skid chart. And everybody's rated a B in this event. Unusual results table. So let's see what unusual results we're going to get here. A 2-5. Wow, double external. 3 units of internal to the car with the least amount of damage. External damage. That's Sam Avalone. So he does 2 external, 3 internal damage. That was a big hit by Peter Miller. Comes out of hiding, and he targets Sam Avalone there. So Sam Avalone has got to lose 3 maneuvers, and he's like one of our last remaining cars that hasn't lost a maneuver. So he loses 1, 4, and 2. Wow. So Sam Avalone's car taking a beating on that round. And we move on to Gitch. Rob Gallimore, a 6-1 easy target maneuver on the car with the most external damage. That's going to be Peter Miller. And he does 1 unit of external, 1 unit of internal. The external is enough. That gives Peter Miller 7. Peter Miller is out of the event. He is our latest casualty. Okay, let's move some of these driver cards around here. And finally, Sam Avalone as the field thins out. After losing 3 of his maneuvers, he rolls a 5-4, and 5 is one of the maneuvers he cannot use, so he does nothing that round. And on to Uncle Dave Gardner. He's looking the best out of all the cars here as far as damage goes. And he rolls a 2-5, a passing glance. That is the skid chart. And a 5 on the skid chart. He does 1 unit of external damage to his own car, so that gives him 3. On to Tiger Bob. And Tiger Bob is stalled, so he needs to roll an even die to get his car started again. And he rolls a 6. He is up and running. We removed the stall card from his car, from his card. And a 1-1 is a double bash maneuver, targeting the car with the most external damage with 2 units of external. That would be me, and I would be out of the event. So Tiger Bob giving me a big hit there, and my car heads to the sidelines. We are now down to 6, and it is Steve Towers' turn. And Keith Avalone is stalled, so Keith Avalone cannot move. Steve Towers got an easy target here, but he rolls a 5. Now remember, Steve Tower has lost 4 maneuvers, so he can't do anything. And will Keith Avalone get his car started? He needs to roll an even number to get his car started again. And he rolls a 2, so his car is started. That engine is purring there, humming. And let's see what he does. A 5-2 pinch hitter maneuver. 1 external and 1 internal. So that gives Steve Tower his 6th external and 2nd internal. So he's going to lose another maneuver. And that's a 2. So Steve Tower only has 1 maneuver left that he can use. That is the weak link maneuver. Anything else, he cannot move his car. So we're down to 6. This event could be over by the next round. Stay tuned. Here we go as smoke fills the arena here, fills the track. Smoke, dirt, dust everywhere. Lots of noise, but we are down to 6 cars as a dice is down. Okay, I got it. And here we go. Dave Gardner, a 2-2, a passing glance maneuver, targeting the car with the most amount of external damage, which is a tie between Tiger Bob and Keith. So we would say 2-2. 1 unit of external and 2 units of internal, so we got to see which car, and it's a 5. So 1 external, that gives Keith Avalone 6, and 2 internals. So Keith Avalone, his card was looking good up until this point, but now he's going to lose 2 maneuvers, a 1 and a 3. So Keith Avalone can no longer use the double zinger or the swashbuckler move. On to Tiger Bob. 6-1. That is a big hello move. The car with the most external damage, which is Keith. 2 units of external. That knocks Keith Avalone out of the event. Tiger Bob with the hit there. Keith Avalone's car limps to the infield. And we are now down to 5 as Sam Avalone's turn. And he rolls a 2-5. A 2 is a maneuver he cannot do. So he is trying to steer that car, trying to target somebody, and he is unable to do it. And on to Gitch, and that is a 1-5. That is the skid chart. And a 2, he does 1 unit of external damage, and we've got to see who it's on. And I rolled 2 dice at the same time. Here, let me roll 1 dice, and it's a 6. So it's going to be on Steve Tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's his 6th unit of external. And finally, Steve Tower. All these cars looking in pretty bad shape except for Dave Gardner. 6-5 to Steve Tower. And that's his only remaining maneuver that he can do, and he rolled the 6. The weak link maneuver, and it's a skid chart. And a 3 is that result, which I don't know what it means. It's just a line, so I guess he does nothing there. And we still got another round to go. Stay tuned. 5 cars remaining, and it's Sam Avalone's turn. And he rolls a 2-4, and a 2 is a maneuver he cannot make. So he's trying to target somebody, and he cannot get the car to respond. And Gitch is up, a 6-4, easy target maneuver. And he does 1 unit of external damage to his own car. That gives him 6. He is on the verge. Uncle Dave Gardner. And he rolls a 1-2, a Dingarooski move. 2 units of external damage to his own car, and 2 units of internal to the car with the least amount of external damage. So that's going to be 2 units of internal on Sam Avalone. So he's going to lose 2 maneuvers. He's already lost 3. And we roll a 6 and a 5. So 5's already taken. So he's going to lose his number 6 move. He's down to 2 maneuvers that he can do. And on to Steve Tower, who only has one maneuver left that he can do. His car is really rattling and shaking and crashing there. He can't really do much. He needs to roll a 6 on the black die, and he rolls a 6-2. He does it again. Targeting the car with the least damage. That's what the open star means, but he only has 1 target. So he does 1 external and 1 external to his own car, giving him 7. Steve Tower, that was a costly hit. It gave Tiger Bob his 6th external damage, but Steve Tower is our latest casualty. We're now down to 4 cars. We'll just shuffle them up a little bit here, but they're all going to be 1 long row here. We're not going to make it 2 rows. So we're down to the final four here. Dave Gardner, Sam Avalone, Tiger Bob, or Gitch Rob Gallimore. Here we go with Uncle Dave. 5-5. He cannot do that move, so he can't steer that 73 station wagon anywhere onto Sam Avalone. 5-6. That's a maneuver he cannot make. So these cars are just circling the track here, wobbling along on bent tires and bent rims here. Tiger Bob, a 1-3. That's a maneuver he cannot make. So nobody is doing anything this round. Finally, it's up to Gitch. And a 5-5 is a maneuver he cannot make. So we will just continue back and go back to Dave Gardner. And a 6-4. Here we go. He cannot move. Will this end up being a stalemate here? And we move on to Sam Avalone, a 1-3. That's a maneuver he cannot make. And Tiger Bob, a 1-4 is a maneuver he cannot make. And finally Gitch with a 4-1, and he's able to move, and he takes evasive action. Oh boy, this is almost the equivalent of a lull in hockey blast here. So back to Dave Gardner with it's pretty hard to hide when there's only 4 cars left on the track, but that's what Gitch is doing. So back to Dave, a 6-1, that's a maneuver he cannot make. And on to Sam Avalone, a 4-1, he's able to move. A slingshot maneuver, targeting the car with the most external damage. So let's see, Dave has got 5, Tiger Bob's got 6. And he does 1 unit of external, 1 unit of internal, but that 1 unit of external gives Tiger Bob 7. His car explodes. He is off the track. We are down to 3. We are down to 3 cars. And so let's see, Gitch comes out of hiding now. He has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And he rolls a 5-2, and a 5 is a move he cannot make here. We're down to the final 3. Back to Dave Gardner, and he rolls a 3. He can finally move. A side swipe, and that's the skid chart where everyone is rated a B. And a 1 is 1 unit of external and 1 unit of internal. And we got to see who it's going to be on. And a 2, it's going to be on Sam Avalone. So 1 unit external, 1 unit of internal. That gives Sam Avalone 6 units of internal damage. He is our latest casualty. We have 2 cars left, Dave Gardner and Rob Gallimore, otherwise known as Gitch, and it's his turn. And a 5-4 is a maneuver he cannot make. Back to Dave. A 4 is a maneuver he cannot make. They're circling each other like 2 wrestlers trying to feel each other out in the ring, see who's going to make the first move. A 1-4 is a wrecking ball for Gitch. 2 units of external. 1 unit of external to his own car. So 2 units of external gives Dave 7, and 1 unit of external to his own car gives Gitch 7. We have got a, well, I guess, do we have a shootout like in hockey? Do we call it a tie? Both cars smash into each other, and I guess we've got co-winners of this event, as Dave Gardner's 73 station wagon and Gitch's 70 custom sedan are in the middle of the track, smoking and flaming and not moving, as they come out and shake hands as co-winners of this demo derby event. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.